So I was talking to Phil in between podcast recordings today. So I'm watching the trailers for the Uncharted thing. They're really ramping up the advertising now. That we're a few weeks from it. I feel like though this will probably be one of the better video game movies, this is probably going to hit on the same level as like a Solo, a Star Wars story. You know what I'm talking about? The Solo movie?
I never saw that one.
You never saw it? It's fine.
It's forgettable, it sounds.
Oh, yeah. Well, Solo does a lot of things where, like, they make the cool character less cool, which sucks. But there's really cool action sequences. There's some cool plot twists, some good acting, and some good character work. But then there's a lot of moments where you scratch your head and you go, oh, why did we choose to do this? For example, Connor, when the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it breaks down a lot, the Millennium Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
And when it breaks down, it kind of makes this like weird droning sound, and then like it'll be like, and then Han Solo will like hit the dashboard, and then it'll go, and then everything will wake up. Connor, if I told you that Solo, a Star Wars story, explains the backstory of that little that happens, would you be interested in knowing that?
What happens?
Well, would you be interested if I told you there's a backstory for why it does that? Would you be interested in that?
I mean, not really, because it's just kind of a quirky thing where you're just like, oh, it's kinks to work out.
So, Connor, that noise is spoilers for Solo Star Wars story, guys. I know, we really care about this. That noise is an AI that has been, or it's the artificial intelligence of a droid that has been transferred into the Millennium Falcon. And that droid is a social justice warrior droid fighting for freedoms of her droid people. And that droid had sex with Lando Calrissian.
I'm kind of happy I didn't see the movie now. Like, I thought it was going to be like something like quirky, funny moment that was just was it important? Was it like big character? Was that a big character?
The droid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like it had to be.
It's sort of like a C character.
Okay.
See, enough to have an arc.
Yeah. That's weird.
It sucked.
That's a weird way to do that if you're going to explain something like that in the first place.
It was very strange.
Yeah.
It was very strange. I will say Solo also had one of the best villains in Star Wars with Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany put it on an excellent performance.
Paul Bettany. What else was he?
He played he plays the Vision in the
Oh,
Avengers movies.
okay. Yeah,
He's also in what's that? It's like a Christmas chick flick movie.
You're gonna blink.
It's got the dude from Walking Dead in it. Rick from Walking Dead. He's in it.
Yeah,
You got no idea.
I have no clue.
Fuck it. It doesn't matter. Connor, we got too much fucking news.
Too much
news to talk about. So let's jump right into it. Here we go. Hold on. Got to take my time code. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to be better. All right. What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast, episode 80. Connor, did you think we were going to get 80 episodes deep into this fucking show?
Not really, no.
No, I thought maybe we'll go a year, maybe we'll go 6 months, who knows?
Still chugging along.
They're still here, man. We're still talking. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, every week, me and my good friend Connor, say hello to the people, Connor.
Hello.
Sit down and we talk to you about some video game news, if you will. We each come to you with 2 topics, 2 pennies, if you will, and give you our 2 cents on them. You can catch this show, youtube.com/2pennygamescast, every Monday, 8 a.m. Central Time. Also, at mainstream podcast services of your choice. Just search 2 Penny Gamescast up into the Spotifys, the Google Podcasts, the Apple Podcasts, the SoundCloud. We're out here. Please, drop a like, drop a follow, rate us 5 stars. We would really, really, really appreciate it. It'll help us get in front of more ears and eyes and all of that fun stuff. But maybe just talking about video games isn't enough for you. Maybe you want a little more pizzazz in your life. You want some visual content, some stimulation to go along with it. We play video games live over at twitch.tv/2pennygames, in which me and my good buddy Phil put on a little show called Hype, HYEP. Have you ever played? Tuesdays, 2 p.m. Central right now. In which we show each other a game the other has never played before. Now, ladies and gentlemen, over here on the youtube.com/2pennygamescast feed, it's a busy week. So let me take a break from explaining the Twitch just for that real quick to explain what's happening this week. We finished our playthrough of God of War 2018 with Phil last week over at twitch.tv/2pennygames. And we just finished recording our After the Hype review for that. So, assuming I can get all the editing done in time, Tuesday at 8 a.m. Central Time, the After the Hype review of God of War 2018 will go live. Every day after that for like the next 4 days at 1 p.m. At youtube.com/2pennygamescast, the finale, or the final parts, rather, of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. Phil's first time playing through that. We'll be going through live. Please check those out. Really fun edits. Really good times. Lots of twists, lots of turns, lots of crazy things. If I were to say one of the most shocking moments that ever happened to me on stream happened in the penultimate episode of that series, it does indeed. That's what happens. Go check it out. It blows my mind. And I get so excited I have to leap off the couch. I jump off the couch and I'm screaming, I'm shouting. It's amazing. It's a great moment. So go check that out. Next week, Tuesday, 8 a.m. Central Time, our top 5 hype games for the first year is going live. Me and Phil thought we'd sit down, celebrate our first year of doing hype, and just kind of go back and forth in some of the favorite games that we've played and some of our favorite memories on stream, so on and so forth. A lot of great stuff coming to the channel this next week. Please check all of that out. Make sure to drop likes and subscribe on all of that. But, Connor, we're here for some news, goddammit. Mm-hmm. And goddammit do we have some news. So
your favorite kind of news, if we're starting with the first story.
We're not starting. Connor, we have a policy, Connor. We have a policy. Policy.
Forgot.
Yep. People come first over here. Ladies and gentlemen, we like to talk about video games as much as everybody else does, but we would much rather have the people who make video games be properly represented and supported in their quest to make these great games that we play. So, we put the toys aside for a second, and we're going to talk about an update to a story we covered a few months ago with Ubisoft Singapore. If you remember, a few months ago, back when the Activision Blizzard things were really popping off and going crazy last year, some Ubisoft Singapore reports were going on. Things were crazy. It was a circus, I believe was the quote. Harassment, askew, everybody in a bunch of trouble, management, just a mess. So, we're bringing an article from The Verge by J. Peters. Watchdog closes probe into Ubisoft Singapore and will not take action. A Singaporean employment watchdog has closed an investigation against Ubisoft Singapore that was opened following allegations of a toxic studio culture and says it will not be taking action against the company. The tripartite? I don't know this word. Google the word for me, my friend. The Tripartite Alliance for Fair and Progressive Employment Practices, TAFEP for short, investigation was opened last summer after Kotaku... What the fuck was that?
Tripartite.
Damn it, you nailed it, bro. What does it mean, though?
Consisting of 3 parts. So I guess it's a organization.
Yeah, it's three
different groups.
Okay, cool. We learn something new every day. Investigation was opened last summer after Kotaku published an extensive article detailing alleged issues at the company based on interviews with more than 20 current and former employees. The claims included racial pay disparity, sexual harassment, and an HR department that allegedly took little action in response to the reports. The TAFEP shared 2 key findings in a press release sent to The Verge. The first was that, quote, Ubisoft Singapore has a structured process to remunerate its Damn it. This is my 3rd show that I've been on today, guys. So stick with me here. Remunerate. Am I saying that right? Fuck it. Its employees fairly, which does not disadvantage Singaporeans based on nationality or race. According to the TAFEP, Ubisoft hired an independent HR firm to review its salary structure, and the studio shared what the firm found with the TAFEP. The watchdog said it did its own checks to verify the results. Quote, the findings show that employees' salaries were performance-based and there were reasonable justifications where there was disparity, such as differences in experience or seniority, the TAFEP says. The TAFEP's second key finding was that, quote, Ubisoft Singapore handled the workplace harassment reports that it received appropriately. Ubisoft has a, quote, structured system to manage workplace harassment, and Ubisoft, has investigated every report it received, according to the TAFEP's press release. In its own statement, Ubisoft said it's fully cooperated with TAFEP during the investigation. Quote, we've put the best practices in place at Ubisoft Singapore to ensure a safe, respectful, inclusive, and equitable workplace for every member of our team, says Ubisoft Singapore Managing Director Daryl Long. Quote, we will continue striving to be an exemplary employer in Singapore and the region, one that attracts and retains the best talents and creates amazing games that enrich the lives of our players. Connor!
Sometimes the end results are not always positive.
Listen, man, sometimes we take L's out here. Last week we talked about the Activision Blizzard acquisition, and though there are pros and cons to that story, we over here at the Two Penny Games thought overall mostly a positive story.
Yeah.
This one, probably not so much. I'm of the opinion if there's smoke, there's fire. I don't know, because I don't have the papers, I don't have the information, but I'm going to guess 20 former and current employees all coming out and saying, hey man, shit's kind of fucked over here. Shit's probably kind of fucked over there, bro. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever worked a job or seen a job where I hear that most of the employees hate it and not all of a sudden think, oh, well, they're just wrong and they're complaining. There's nothing wrong here. Most of the time, there's an issue that causes that.
Everybody likes to complain about work.
People do like to, but
nobody likes
when it goes
to,
from complaining to like hating it, saying like this job sucks, and complaining about instances they've experienced.
It's toxic, man. Where our pay discrimination, our pay is wrong. We're being harassed. Like there's shit going on here that's real. And if I'm gonna guess, man, I think we've come to the wrong conclusion here, and it's probably only gonna get worse over there at Ubisoft Singapore because now they're vindicated. You know.
It's very. I think it's very often that someone gets under investigation, and then when they're cleared, they go under investigation later on down the line. I don't like unless another expose comes out. I guess we could see some action again on this, but most likely there's not going to be anything since it's already been reported on and nothing was done about it.
Now
they didn't even recognize that there was something going on in the first place, so it's kind of a lose-lose situation for us.
Very unfortunate. Now, again, we don't know everything. We're just two idiots on the internet talking into microphones.
In the U.S., not in Singapore.
In the U.S., not in Singapore. Maybe the reporting is accurate. Maybe things are fine. Maybe this pay stuff is accurate to what they're saying. Where it's like, hey man, no, it's just some people have been here longer. Some people have greater skills than other people. You know, some people did a lot of great work or whatever. And if true, then fine. I've no real issues with that on paper. The problem is that reality is usually quite different than what is on paper. So I'm going to assume some things were probably overlooked, some things were probably swept under the rug, some things were probably brushed away, waved off with a quick, simple explanation of something. And I don't think due diligence was done here.
There wasn't much of a focus on that from the public, like there was with Activision Blizzard, where people still hound them to this day. I mean, we know that harassment was reported going on at Ubisoft Singapore, but after initial reportings and an investigation was opened up, the talk about that just kind of trailed off. So it's easy to just sweep this under the rug, because I didn't hear about this until you mentioned it, right before we got on the show. We didn't even see it blow up that week.
Yeah, I saw it when it happened, and I didn't see anybody really talk about it. Yeah. Which I think is unfortunate, and I commended the games media last week with covering every angle of the Ubisoft Activision Blizzard acquisition last week. They covered every angle, from the harassment, from the exclusivities, from the big wigs talking amongst each other, all of it. It was covered very well. This, I'm a little disappointed. This seems like it should have been a bit of a conversation of things that are happening, just because this is a space we all love and adore, but like, come on guys, like, let's fight. Let's keep the fight up and keep it consistent. Just because it doesn't get clicks doesn't mean anything to fucking me. It needs to be a part of the conversation of, hey, sure, this big news that dropped last week, that's really fascinating and interesting, but here's some things like, there's potential for change here, but now over here, there's almost little room for potential change, and we need to do something about that. Nobody was talking about it this week. Everybody was just too focused on Pokemon. Yeah. Which, to be fair, Pokemon, pretty good thing to be excited about. But, as we say here, let's put the toys to the side for a second.
Things take priority. I almost forgot that this episode.
Yeah.
Like, well,
sometimes they need to be reminded that these are just toys, and they need to be put to the side for the people. People are important. But, Connor, now that we've addressed the people, and we give our best wishes for those over at Ubisoft, and hope that truth, justice, and prosperity, all that shit happens over there. It's about all we can do. Yeah. So, might as well talk about some toys.
By the way, just to go back to it, the word you were trying to struggle with, remunerate, I guess it was.
Yeah.
That just means pay. I don't know why they didn't just put that there. These
games
$5
journalists, they try to
words.
be a little fancy. This is watchdog.
Remunerate.
This harassment watchdog. They're trying to be out here flexing their things. Anyways, Connor, that was my first penny. Time for penny. No, that was your fish penny. I've decided because I want these next two.
Yeah.
Suck a dick, Connor.
Well, I wonder what they're going to be.
Anyways, my first penny of the day here, ladies and gentlemen. Topic number 2. Electronic Arts and Lucasfilm Games announced new Star Wars titles from Respawn Entertainment, pulling straight from EA's website. Electronic Arts Incorporated and Lucasfilm Games are joining forces to continue delivering all-new, world-class gaming experiences set within the beloved Star Wars galaxy. Respawn Entertainment, best known for their work on Apex Legends, Titanfall, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, is leading the development and production of these new projects. Vince Zampella, Group GM and founder of Respawn, will oversee this new phase of EA's relationship with Lucasfilm, building on Respawn's award-winning history in game development and expertise in telling compelling Star Wars stories. Game director Stig Asmussen and his team at the studio are already working on the next game in the action-adventure Star Wars Jedi series and are joined by 2 new teams working to deliver additional unique Star Wars gameplay experiences across multiple genres. Leading the development of Respawn's all-new Star Wars first-person shooter game is Peter Hirschman, game director at Respawn, who has a long and accomplished history with the Star Wars franchise. The third title is a Star Wars strategy game developed through a production collaboration with the newly formed studio Bit Reactor, helmed by games industry veteran Greg Forrest. Respawn will produce the new Star Wars strategy game, while Bit Reactor leads on the development of the title. Quote, "We are really excited to continue working with the superbly talented developers at Respawn," said Douglas Riley, VP of Lucasfilm Games. Quote, "They have demonstrated excellence in telling epic Star Wars stories, along with best-in-class gameplay across different genres, and we are looking forward to bringing more amazing experiences to the galaxy far, far away." Building on the previous success of our EA relationship, this new collaboration highlights the trust and mutual respect shared between the world-class teams at EA, Respawn, and Lucasfilm Games, said Sean Shoptaw, SVP Walt Disney Games. Quote, "Fostered by the experience and passion within each team, we will create thrilling, original games for diverse audiences across the Star Wars galaxy." Quote, "Working with Lucasfilm Games on a new FPS in the Star Wars galaxy is a dream come true for me, as this is a story I've always wanted to tell," said Peter Hirschman, Respawn game director at Respawn. Peter previously worked as VP of development at LucasArts and was executive producer on the original Star Wars Battlefront games. Hirschman and the team at Respawn have just begun work on the title. Work has already begun on all 3 projects, and Respawn is looking for talent to join the teams. Additional information on available job openings can be found at Respawn Careers. Quote, "We are huge fans of Star Wars here at Respawn, and we're thrilled to work with Lucasfilm Games on new titles that we have wanted to make for years," said Zampella. "If you want to make great Star Wars game, you should come join us on our journey."
Some nice games coming up.
So, a couple of things can be pulled from this. One, even though the EA exclusivity Star Wars deal is up next year, it is clear, to me at least, that Lucasfilm Games is not done with EA. Which is cool, which is exciting. However, something that kind of disappoints me is I think Respawn being given the keys for an FPS game means no Star Wars Battlefront 3. Which is something I would be looking forward to with the status we left Battlefront 2 in, which obviously launched, became the poster child for microtransaction, loot box, that whole debacle. Looking for a word in my vocabulary is failing me. And so I understand the choice to be like, oh yeah, no, we're going to put Battlefront on the back burner for quite a while, which is so unfortunate because this fucking franchise can never reach the number 3. And that really sucks because Battlefront 2 was a good game. It was just marred by a terrible, terrible business practice at launch. But they fixed it, guys. They really did fix it. Now I'm hearing it's a bit of a mess. Hackers are running rampant. Everybody's quitting out of games that they don't want, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which is to be expected with an older game that is losing its core base. But on the flip side of that, Respawn is now very clearly the new golden goose over at EA, replacing DICE replacing BioWare, however you viewed it. You know,
Yeah.
Respawn is the new golden child.
They're bringing in the bucks for them, mainly with Apex Legends.
Yep.
Titanfall gave them a lot of credit.
Yeah.
They've just been really giving it up.
Jedi Fallen Order was
Fallen Order
a huge success. You know?
And they're making a second one.
They're making a second one.
Announced.
This shows to me that Respawn being kind of the leader in this new initiative that they're doing, this tells me that they were happy with what Jedi Fallen Order, the first one, did. And I assume they're pretty far in development in Jedi Fallen Order 2. I'm hearing rumors that we even get that game this year. Who knows? Maybe. COVID.
The last one came out in December, near the end of that year.
You're right. Yeah. So there's a chance. I keep hearing whispers that we're going to be hearing about it real soon. So we'll find out. And Respawn leading this charge tells me that, and assuming development of Jedi is as far along as we are assuming, it's probably a banger. Otherwise, why would we triple down this hard on Respawn? It's probably a banger, which is great because Jedi Fallen Order was a pretty solid fucking game, pretty good game.
Yep.
Nice combat mechanics, okay enough story. It just kind of marred by feeling like it was rushed out the door a little bit. Lots of glitches, you know, not the most complex level design, but it was appreciated. All of the 3D Metroidvania stuff that they were doing was appreciated, but you know, it didn't quite have the amount of polish that Respawn is known for, and it felt rushed out the door. I mean, even you who played it this last year,
I encountered those glitches. I would sometimes just fall through things, and I have to restart from whatever checkpoint I was at, or start a combat encounter over again.
Yeah.
But the story did leave me very hopeful because it got me interested. Because, as you said before, the story of Fallen Order just kind of went along, and I just kind of followed the steps it was leading me on.
Did it get better as it went on?
It did get better, but I was overall like, I don't know how this will pan out in the long run.
Yeah.
But thankfully, they ended up really getting you ready to play the next game. So from that.
With more than just that surprise cameo ending, like the story around. I'm excited to see Cal Kestis again.
Am I?
You know, I'm watching the Book of Boba Fett right now.
Oh, okay.
Pretty mediocre show. But there was a moment where a BD unit, the droid that sits on his back, Cal's back, showed up on screen, and I was like, "Oh shit, he's here!" And I got really excited. He wasn't there. It was a different droid. But
that would have been cool.
It would have been fucking cool.
Yeah.
I was excited because that's the actor. They used his likeness. He's in Gotham. You know, he's the fucking Joker or the Riddler or some shit. I don't fucking know. And he's in a bunch of other shows. He's a good actor. He did okay in Jedi. He's a little plain. You know, it was a little bit, a little boring at times. But his hero journey that he went on was exciting.
It was.
So I'm assuming if we put on that polish, we put a little more time in development. We have it come out glitch free with a more interesting story and raise some stakes maybe. I think we're in for a banger.
I think we are too. I think this is going to serve as our first game is going to serve as a really good groundwork for this second one.
Yeah, I think they set a solid enough foundation to build. So I'm excited to see where we go from here. Much like Horizon Zero Dawn to Forbidden West, even though I do think both those games are going to be on a different echelon than these Jedi Fallen Order games, but you know what I mean. Like, it's a good foundation for what's coming next.
Yeah.
The first-person shooter game, listen, I love Titanfall. Both games. I adore them. Apex Legends is my favorite Battle Royale game. I was even thinking about jumping into it this next week. Respawn makes damn good first-person shooters. They really are. And so, inherently, fuck it. They're bread and butter in a Star Wars universe. We had mentioned that they were doing a first-person shooter game 2 weeks ago. I want to say it was. We brought that story up of the rumored FPS game. We didn't know what it was at the time. Now we know it's Star Wars, which excites me even more. Sure, yeah, man. Let me play as a bounty hunter. Let me play as a Han Solo rogue type. Let me play as. Fuck it, man. Like, if we do another, if it's a Republic Commando revival or something, I'd be interested in that.
It did leave off for a sequel from what I heard from the first one, so it could lead into something new.
I would imagine you just reboot it. Yeah, I don't think you would ever double tap into anything old.
They definitely could go with the. I feel like with a first-person shooter Star Wars game, the right tactic to go in is kind of a lot more grimier, not one that's as fantastical or mystical with Jedi powers. It doesn't need the big galactic stakes war. Yeah, which is why I think personally I would like it if we went like a bounty hunter route, or if we did like a rogue character like a Han Solo type. I think that would be fun, personally. But it's just kind of, it's like, okay, cool, another Star Wars first person shooter. We've had
several of those along the years. You know, Battlefronts and Republic Commandos and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can go down the line.
One good thing about it being in Star Wars, though, is it does have a lot of potential for a variety of things we haven't seen before. Because the Star Wars universe is pretty untapped when you think about it.
Oh yeah,
There's a variety of stuff you can do.
Yeah, we keep returning to the well that was successful before for a reason. It's successful.
Yeah.
Don't fuck up with you know. But the Star Wars is such a vast universe that it can really kind of cover any type of genre you want.
Even horror, going that far.
It totally could do horror. Yo, I've been saying ever since Disney acquired Star Wars, yo, give me a fucking Vader movie where it's just you're a series of younglings or something running away from Darth Vader. Or not younglings, but like Padawans.
Yeah.
You're running away from Darth Vader and he's just cutting you all down. That sounds horrific and awesome. That would be great. I don't know what that would do for, like, I don't know how you would make a horror video game or something like that, but there's space there somewhere.
If you have a concept, then you can build on it and do even other things that are more possible.
We can do something with that there. But, like, even that, like, we have this new strategy game being done by, what were their names? Bit Reactor. This is the most exciting of this three. This is the most exciting one for me. Because now it's finally, okay, something new. It's not just a shooter. It's not just an action adventure. It's a new strategy game. We can go in a million different directions from there, man. Is it XCOM? Is it like an XCOM ripoff, which would be fucking awesome?
That's the big thing that would sell me on the strategy.
Yeah.
Game. Give me an XCOM-like experience, but be it unique and be your own. I'm on board.
Absolutely on board. Like, and, you know, I mean, just like imagine, like, okay, you have a squad build, and one of them is a Force user. Just one, though. Yeah. Like, and they limit you to that. Everyone else has to use blasters or guns or is a tech expert or something. You've got a hacker. You've got a droid.
An assassin, something like that.
Something. You know, you've got a lot of different classes and things you can build, and you can build a team around that, and that would be fucking dope as hell.
It would be.
I don't know what the story would be.
But once again, Star Wars is big. You can do anything. You can put it in any kind of situation.
Anything. And I would hope with the now that we've finished the Skywalker saga and we've started to explore different eras and stuff. We've got the High Republic stuff coming. I'm hoping and the Old Republic remake happening. I'm hoping that we're kind of done with the eras that we're familiar with. You know, with the Age of the Republic and the Age of the Rebellion and whatever they call the new era, the Age of Resistance or some shit. Like, we don't need to be in those big conflicts all the time. Like, you know, like we can figure something else out. We can jump forward 100 years in the future, be completely separated. We can be in another galaxy far, far away. It doesn't just have to be the one, you know? So I'm really hoping that this is the game that we're like, hey, let's experiment. Let's have a little fun. You know? If not, I mean, I'll take it. At least it's a gameplay difference from the ones we've been getting. And
Respawn hasn't done a strategy game, to my knowledge?
Well, they haven't, no. But to be fair, they're just kind of producing it. Whereas Bit Reactor seems to be doing all the development work. So
never heard about
that. But that's great, too.
Yeah.
You know, listen, Respawn's bought enough clout for me where they've... I'm just waiting for them to elevate to that next level. They're begging to be there. They're begging to be there. It's just, I just need one nice masterpiece of a video game for you guys to be there. And arguably, you know, Titanfall 2 or maybe Apex Legends was that, but I'm not a big multiplayer guy, you know? You know, I like multiplayer, of course. You know,
it's not why you play games.
But it's not why I play games. You know, I'll play, fuck it, yeah, I love it. I have a great time. But at the same time, all of the dramatic, in my opinion, all of the big influential change the game, no pun intended, games have been our single-player narrative adventure games of the last decade. Your Last of Us, your God of War, your Ghost of Tsushima, you know, your Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, you know? Kind of makes sense to me, right? Even though Breath of the Wild isn't a narrative focus, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so I'm very interested and very excited about this. Connor, you, a bit of a Star Wars fan. You like it well enough.
I mean, one thing that I like is universes. Fictional universes. This is one of the reasons why I love, like, 40K, for example. It's very similar to this. You can do any...
Star Wars, debatably, the fictional universe.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. I play games that are good, regardless of the what they're attached to.
Yeah.
Marvel Spider-Man. I don't really like the Marvel movies anymore. I've gotten tired of them. I love Spider-Man. And I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play Wolverine.
Yeah.
None of that's gonna hold me back. So, with Star Wars specifically, though, it does offer that open world, that endless possibility, and that's what I'm excited to see. Because like I was saying, I would like something grittier for the first person, something like XCOM for the strategy, all these different ideas.
Yeah.
Could be that, could be something completely different. As long as what they're offering me is something that appeals to me, gameplay-wise, story-wise, whatever, then they've got me. So.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. And it's one of those things where like Star Wars is so big and so grand that like you give one sentence elevator pitch and your mind goes off and you start creating in your head of what could be, you know? And that means a lot more. When you say Insomniac developed Wolverine game, you've got a pretty good idea what you're going to get there. You know, it's not like you're not lost in the wonder. You're like, okay, I'm going to have great action, great combos, great all that. And it'll be, hopefully it'll be, pretty brutal and stuff that Wolverine deserves. But it's going to be Wolverine. Here, you say Respawn first-person shooter Star Wars, and my mind goes in like 3 or 4 different directions. What type of first-person shooter narrative adventure are we going? Are we going Wolfenstein? Are we going influences from Titanfall? Are we going? I don't think we're gonna go Doom.
No.
But like, which direction are we going in here? And then even in there, what type of first-person shooter are we going? That's kind of the beauty of all of this is we can really play around and fuck around, and there's so many different eras and times that like just that, which to me is the least exciting announcement of these 3. I'm interested, So yeah, man, this is exciting for me. I'm very, very excited for more Star Wars.
Looking forward to when we see those trailers.
I will say, however, just to put it out there, the one I'm most excited... Well, I'm pretty damn excited to see the KOTOR remake. I want to see what they change. Mostly. That's where my most of my excitement lies.
Yeah.
But the one that I'm like, I can't wait to see more about that is that Ubisoft game done by Massive, I believe is the team, who do The Division, and they're doing a Star Wars one. I want that. That's what I want. That right there. Give me that, please and thank you.
That and more Star Wars stuff coming.
Let me live in a games as service Star Wars thing, man. Like, man, I don't even care if it's just a mid game, man. I care. I'm too much of a fucking fanboy. I'll play that game every week.
Yeah. That's a game that screams you'd go back to just play it. And you're like, I'll jump and do my dailies.
Yeah.
Head out.
Dude, give me some dailies in Star Wars, man. Oh, so good. Anyways, but Connor, what if I told you the future is bright, not just for Star Wars?
For reference, that was my second penny.
No, fuck you. That was my point. Get this fucking dick. But if I told you a little game called Uncharted has might have a little bit of a future coming as well.
Making its way back around.
Yeah. So this is my second penny. Fuck you, Connor. In which we're pulling an IGN article by Jared Moore. Uncharted devs seem to want to make another sequel. Quote, "It's a world we want to see more of." Uncharted creative director Sean Eskag has hinted that developers at Naughty Dog would like to make another sequel in the blockbuster series, saying that it's a, quote, world we want to see more of. As part of an interview with Games Radar, Eskeg offered fans a slight hope that perhaps there could be more to come from the Uncharted franchise when speaking about his thoughts on the topic. Quote, "I think we can say for certain that we can never say never. Yeah, Uncharted is a franchise we love, that the studio loves, I love, and Uncharted, The Lost Legacy director Kurt Marganu loves. It's a world that we want to see more of, so I can certainly say that," explained SK. While the creative director didn't share any studio secrets and certainly didn't confirm that a new Uncharted game is on its way, his comments will have left Uncharted fans hoping that there's a chance the series could make a return beyond remasters. Recent reports indicated that Days Gone Studios' Sony Bend had at one point been working on a new Uncharted project, and rumors had circulated for some time before that about a new entry in the series. Whether those rumored projects have continued remains unknown. Alright, and then the rest is just about the remastered collection. Alright, so, Connor, first of all, would you like to see any more Uncharted?
I wouldn't say no if the original creators, the creators of it, wanted to do something, as these developers are saying.
No, Naughty Dog as a team, you mean?
Naughty Dog as a team, yes.
Yeah.
But I feel I struggle whenever I think about Uncharted of where it could go next, without feeling like it's just rehashing what's already been told, which is the story of Nathan Drake. It seems like he had a clear arc where we saw him in the first game, and he eventually came to obviously have different values aside from adventuring, and he retired. And we even saw into his future where he has kids. Now, obviously, the first things people bring up, I think you brought it up before, is we'll have his kids do it. Like the question I'm left with is, do I care at that point? Because Uncharted has cultivated itself as a series with Nathan Drake. They obviously did the side stories with, what are their names? Nadine and...
Oh, no, Chloe and Nadine. Yeah.
They did the DLC there, which I still haven't played. I should play that.
You should play that.
Yeah. Which, in regards to those characters, I don't know how that whole thing played out. But they'd be more interesting than...
Pretty good.
They did play out pretty good?
Pretty good.
Because I'd be more excited for those characters than Nathan Drake's children, because it just kind of seems like they're throwing new characters into a meat grinder, because, hey, that's who's next. Next up on the chopping block.
So here's my thing. I'm going to stop you there.
Mm-hmm.
I would like some more Uncharted, yes. To me, Uncharted does not need to be Nathan Drake. It doesn't. What it needs to be is a fun roller coaster excitement theme park of a video game with cool and charismatic and fun characters. That's Uncharted. Quips, cool action, great set pieces, good enough third-person shooter gameplay. That's Uncharted, right? Like that's it in a capsule. So Lost Legacy is one of the better Uncharted games.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the best, but it's one of the better ones. And in fact, there are moments in that are used as fan service to sort of relive other moments from the series that are done better in Lost Legacy than than they were the first time around. Now, granted, that's a bit of the technology advance, Naughty Dog advance. They got better as a development studio, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The technology allowed for them to do more. But Naughty Dog does fidelity, movement in games better than anybody. The momentum feels right in Uncharted almost all the time. Even though it's not the most actually technical third-person platforming game, but it makes you feel like it's a really good platforming game. You know what I mean? To me, I think we've put the pause on Uncharted for a minute, and I think that's in response to how Lost Legacy was received, which was received positively, but it didn't blow down the doors. It was like, oh man, this is a really good Uncharted game. We like it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, you put a pause on Uncharted, and we'll come back to it in a couple years. To me, it would be, again, with a huge... Well, I guess all of them have a subtitle. So to me, it would be Uncharted so-and-so, different person, Mm-hmm. We could go in the direction of a family lineage thing. I think that would be smart. That's an easy out. And as long as you keep it to the treasure hunting, quips, fun times. Nothing too crazy, nothing too serious. Let's be honest. Nathan Drake doesn't have a character arc until the 3rd/4th game. He's the same guy at the end and beginning, really the 4th game. But he's the same guy from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, pretty much every time, except for 3. And I think 3 has the worst story.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? It's pulp, fun, action, flipping, you jump in, you jump out. I'm not like the oh man, it was better when this character was in or whatever, or we're just rehashing it. They're all rehashes. Every game is the same game, for the most part.
I wouldn't say that necessarily, because Uncharted has been Nathan Drake. It's been characters that have been established. Yeah. That's baseline. I obviously don't want Nathan Drake to just keep on going.
No, I'm done with Drake. I think
done.
Everybody's done with Drake.
Yeah. He's run his course. Great character
Nathan
while he was
Drake,
there.
At least.
Yeah, Nathan.
But
Drake.
Even where they leave 4 off, there's that character who very clearly has that adventurer spirit.
Does
as well. So
I guess the serious question would be: would they be doing a one-off game, or just keep on going until they just decide whenever?
I think you just do it whenever it feels right. Just do whatever you want whenever you want.
Because I am also always of the opinion, if a game ran its course like Uncharted, make something else. You're Naughty Dog.
For sure.
Naughty Dog can do
I think Naughty Dog has free reign to do whatever the fuck they want right now.
Yeah. They could choose to do whatever it is they want.
Yeah. I want to see something new from Naughty Dog personally right now. I want to kick off this generation. Let's get a new Naughty Dog IP.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a Last of Us 3. I don't want an Uncharted 5. I don't want the return of Crash Bandicoot or what were they do? Oh, I definitely don't want the return of Jack and Dexter. I want something new. I want them to play around and experiment. One of the more interesting parts of Uncharted 4, Lost Legacy, and Last of Us Part 2 is they started playing around with some open world ideas. I don't think they're necessarily the best at that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was interesting to see them experiment with their formula a little bit.
Yeah.
I would like to see that. What does a Naughty Dog RPG look like? That would be cool, right? They would be the guys to give BioWare an actual run, classic BioWare, an actual run for their money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? all of that just suddenly, like, it just kind of clicks, doesn't it? Where you're
It
just
does,
kind of like, oh, wait, no, I see what that could look like.
Yeah, because they've done action-adventure games.
Yeah.
With Last of Us and Uncharted.
And
The bread and
some of
butter.
the greatest of all time.
Yeah, Jack and Dexter even. It's the same, obviously very different styles of games they're going for, but they're action-adventure.
Uncharted and Last of Us, some of the greatest games of all time.
But when you bring in an RPG element to it, that'd be interesting to see what they would do.
Like, if you remember in Uncharted 4, granted it was more for just, like, flavor text and, you know, to, like, personalize your own... But they were playing around with dialogue options in Uncharted 4. Remember that?
I do remember that,
And
yeah.
for a minute, it's been the optional conversations that you can miss ever since the first Last of Us, where, like, if you just hang around an area for a little while, a character might have something to say, and you just click the triangle and you have something to say. You know, like, kind of the roots are kind of there. Like, there's something... I think Naughty Dog is obviously at a level of greatness right now, but I think they've got more in them than what they've shown us so far. Mm-hmm. You know, honestly, we'll probably just get another narrative-based action-adventure game.
Yeah,
you know, and it'll just be a new one
for the new console generation.
Maybe it'll be a sci-fi thing. Maybe it'll be a fantasy thing. Who knows, man? But you know, I almost certainly it's going to be character-based. But I would love to see something new for now. If we want to return to Uncharted, I'd be more than happy to do that. I don't really want to return to Last of Us ever again, personally. Mm-hmm. I think 2 to me was pretty definitive. Even though there is, I guess, room, but I don't care to see where those journeys play out. I like how open-ended it is. Granted, I said that about the first game. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I guess we'll find out in a couple of years. But right now, I would like something new from Naughty Dog. I am just for spoilers for what we've been playing. I am playing the remasters right now. I'm having a good time. Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy are great games, so of course I'm having a good time. You know, but are we just going to keep recycling these same 2 franchises now? Like, is this just what Naughty Dog does now? Like, Naughty Dog's got more than that in them than just this.
And now's the time for them to branch off into those other paths because Uncharted's done, at least for now. Obviously, they want to. They're
granted, we have that Last of Us remake kicking around somewhere.
That's true as well.
They've been talking about Last of Us 2 factions forever in whatever form that's going to take. Now it's probably going to be its own fucking game at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
So who knows?
Yeah,
who knows? End of the day, sure, I'll take more Uncharted. Why not? I like those games.
I'll keep playing it.
Connor, you had stopped me in the middle of that story to remind me that a little Halo TV trailer dropped
from Paramount, the service that I know many people buy and pay for.
So to be fair, this is good. I think this is one of their like frontlining things right now.
Well,
and they've released their first real trailer for the show. We mentioned it. I don't know, a while back when they first announced it or whatever. We talked about it. Connor, we paused the show. We went and watched it. We came right back, and you know what? I think this is fine. I think it looks good.
Yeah,
it looks like it's going to have some cool action. It looks like it's going to pay enough homage to fans of the series to do what needs to be done. What I do like, while I was watching the trailer, I was sitting there. I was like, why don't we just do the story of the first game? Obviously, expand on it, put more details and more character and more, like plot into it, of course, because the plot of the first game isn't like super great, but it's solid. Like, it's a solid foundation to build greatness, even within the confines of that one story. But as we continued in the trailer and they started showing, oh hey man, this is going to be more than just Master Chief fighting some aliens. Like, we're going to do some crazy stuff. And then I remembered when they announced the Halo TV series, they did an interview and they were like, "Hey man, this isn't in canon. This is a different timeline. We're doing things differently." That now I'm excited. Okay, we're changing up the formula. We're doing something new. We're doing something creative. We're not sticking to the story and the usual tropes of Halo, but we're gonna have enough identifiable things. Covenant's here. Master Chief is here. Energy swords.
Looks like
Forerunner technology.
Flood in some form related to that? There was a character that had tentacle powers.
Yeah, some kind of tentacle things are happening. Maybe that's Flood. Maybe it's something new. Who knows?
Like, they could do Flood in a different way that's not as just world-ending apocalyptic.
Exactly. If that's the look of the Flood, I like that look though. I never thought of having them more squid-like instead of like weird mashy green nonsense.
Bubbles.
Yeah,
pus bubbles.
Yeah, exactly. But I kind of like that look better now that I'm like looking at it. And there were a couple of cool shots. Looks like it's gonna have some cool action in it.
CG looks good. You noted that when the trailer was going on.
CG looks better than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it looks great. Like there were several shots where I'm like, clearly that's CG.
Yeah.
But we get a close up of an Elite's face, and I'm like, that looks like an Elite, and it looks like a good Elite. Like I buy it. There's a shot where he's fighting two Elites at once, and it's clearly CG. But I'm like, but you know what? It's not bad. No, especially for a TV show. So I'm into it. Looks like we're telling some stories about some Marines that he's interacting with. That can be a little hit or miss sometimes with Halo lore. We've seen attempts at that before. Cortana's got an interesting look.
Yeah, and we're seeing Cortana not as purple,
not as blue, not as purple, not as much hologram. A little more person there.
Skin colored,
which probably a smart move. Less special effects on her, make her a little more human.
It saves budget, that's for sure.
Yeah, make her a little more of a character, which would be appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's those tentacles. We got the trailer playing up here right now.
Yep.
But you know what? Anytime you do people in full head-to-toe armor, sometimes it looks a little goofy.
Yeah.
And I still see elements of that goofy lookingness here, but they're doing the best they can, I think.
Yeah. I think that aspect's kind of too hard to, in live action, get past with that outfit. Unless you're putting like a lot of money, like a Marvel level movie.
Yeah.
You're going to have a hard time making it look natural. But you can do the best you can, and as you said.
And I think they're doing okay.
I think, yeah.
So from what we're seeing here, I'm seeing a lot of influence of The Mandalorian, funny enough.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Like, Mandalorian's a much slower, much lower stakes show, so this is going to have more punch to it.
Yeah.
But the way that they're framing the shots of Chief, very Mandalorian. Very much how Mando moves, very much how Mando is shot. So all of that is very, very interesting to me. And you know what? This did enough. This did enough for me where I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll get the Paramount Plus free trial.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's what it did. Or at least I'll wait for reviews. And if the reviews are like, hey, man, this is pretty good, then I'll be like, all right, sure, fuck it, let me try it out. But I think there was no big wow moment of this trailer. There was no moment where both you and me went, oh, shit!
No, I would never had a moment like that. We were just kind of sitting there enjoying it.
And it was like, we were watching, we're like, okay, there's some I like the little, like, handshaking things. What's going on? Chief's mental not all the way there? That's interesting. Anyways, this is something that's going to be in the back of my mind. I'm going to forget about by tomorrow.
Yeah.
But anytime someone brings it up, I'll always be like, oh yeah, you know what? Actually, I do kind of want to check that out, kind of thing. So I'll say, I'm more positive on this than I was on the Uncharted trailer. So that says something.
That's good.
That says something, right?
By the way, Cortana's played by the voice actress of Cortana.
Is she really?
Jen Taylor. Yeah.
It sounded like her, but I didn't know if that was her.
Yeah.
I don't know what Jen Taylor looks like.
Doing the acting. Yeah, I just found that out.
Well,
good.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I like it when the voice actor who played her for so long is now doing the live action version. Seems like she's getting some kind of benefit out of all that. You don't like that? It's got the voice.
If we're going to do something new, do something new. You know what I mean? One of the great things about Mandalorian is they casted Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. And her take on the character, granted the character was older, so we could go a little more mature route, but her take on the character was very different from the actress who played her in the animated shows. Granted, I love Ahsoka's one of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars. So obviously I love her in the animated, but I really, really appreciated what Dawson was doing in The Mandalorian. I don't see why we couldn't do the same thing. I mean, I guess it's just that Cortana's voice is just so iconic that you can't. And Jen Taylor isn't old,
yeah.
So like she can play her.
I like it.
Sure, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. But good for her. But like, there's just a piece of me that would have liked something new, a new take, something fresh. Now I know we're gonna get the normal Cortana. You know what I mean? It's just going to be Cortana. And I'm like, okay, cool. I like Cortana. I love Cortana. Cortana's one of my favorite video game characters ever.
She's great.
But I'm just going to get more of what I already have. So I'm like, all right, well, it would have been nice to see something fresh, especially in an era of Halo where we're looking to refresh this franchise. You know what I mean?
Right.
I say that, but Jen Taylor is fucking killing it as weapon in Halo Infinite. So maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe I'm full of shit, guys.
You'll be able to watch it when you get your Paramount Plus subscription.
Yeah. When is it hitting?
Is it releasing all at the same time, or are they doing the thing where they
the week to week?
week?
I don't know. Streaming March 24th is all I've got right now. I do not know if this will be.
Didn't know it said something in the description.
I'm reading the YouTube description right now. Stream the premiere of the new original series Halo on Thursday, March 24th.
Yeah, so it's going to be week
I
by
think
week.
it's going to be week to week.
Yeah.
In which case, I'll wait. I'll wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't something I'm chomping at the bit to watch. I'm
No.
I mean, hell, you brought up watching the Uncharted movie casually. Like, hey, I'll be off this day.
Because I
Might
forgot
as
the
well do
trailer.
it.
I forgot the trailer had happened, or I forgot the Halo trailer was happening. So when I mentioned it at the top of the show, I was like, "Yeah, we'll see." Yeah, we will be doing a review for the Uncharted movie.
Yeah. Expect that this Sunday. It comes out on the Friday, doesn't it? Did you say?
Friday of Horizon.
Yeah.
So I'll be streaming Horizon pretty much all day up until the time until it's movie time, and then we'll come home, we'll record a review, and then we'll put it up on YouTube, and that'll be that.
Sounds good.
You know, that's what it is. Connor, that is it for the news this week.
The news is now news.
Let's go ahead and wrap it all up with some what we've been playing. I'll jump in first. My Google Doc is broken.
Oh,
I know.
Can't take your time code.
I can't take my time codes. Reload the site.
Well, you'll be able to take the time codes properly one of these days.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. It fucked up my time code for the Halo trailer.
Yeah, that's expected.
What the fuck is going on here? What is going on? I hate technical issues, man. This is a dumb technical issue. It won't let me type. It won't let me do anything. Anyways.
It's a weird problem to have, too.
About, all right, 50 minutes, 40 seconds for what we've been playing. Connor, I've been playing Uncharted, obviously. I already mentioned that. It's Uncharted. Man,
Yeah.
It's exactly what you think it is. It's good. It's a fun time. I like it. The PS5 upgrade, I'm playing there's 3 different versions of play you can do. You can do 4K at 30 FPS. You can do, I think it's 10K at 60, and then it's like a up-resed 10, and then it's I'm sorry, what did I say? 10K? It's a 1080p at 60, and then it's like an up-resed, like, soft version of 1080p at 120 frames a second. Once you get to that 120 mode, the game starts not looking as great as it does. And also you start getting some frame rate dips. So I'm like, not like noticeable frame rate dips. It's like from 120 to 100, you know, but, what's the point? You know?
Yeah.
At that point, like, these are spectacle games. So it's meant to look good. So I'm playing at that middle ground, the 1080p and the 60 frames a second.
That's all you really need.
That's all you really need. And yeah, man, it's Uncharted. It's good. It's a fun time. Better looking than it's ever been. Runs better than it's ever had. And I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm having this issue, Connor, with games that I'm playing PS4 and then getting the PS5 version of. I'm having this issue with my trophies, Connor. And it's happening with another game that I've been playing this week, Jedi Fallen Order.
Wow.
Because the Respawn thing got announced, and I was like, you know what, I feel like playing some Jedi Fallen Order. So I loaded that up, and I played some. And it was a simple, like, hey man, just load up your previous save, hit a meditation point, and all the trophies will pop. And all but 2 trophies popped. Not including the plat, or not including the plat. So all but 3, including the platinum. It was all the story ones, all the collectibles, except like there's a trophy for gathering all the plants and putting them in your little like plant pedestal on the ship. That one didn't pop for some reason. And then getting 100 perfect dodges didn't pop for some reason. So now I'm sitting here and I'm like, do I put in the effort and, you know, just get these last 2 trophies and get my extra platinum for Jedi Fallen Order? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? We'll see how I feel. But I'm having the same thing happen to Uncharted 4 and Uncharted Lost Legacy, where I loaded up my save and all of them popped except for the gameplay centric ones, where it's like get 20 death from above knockouts or whatever they call them, you know? Get through this area completely stealth. You know, get through this area without killing anybody, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It's a bunch of those. It's like 6 of them for both of those games. Fuck! Like, I mean, at least it's not the collectible ones, because those are a pain in the ass, because Naughty Dog loves their scattered journals and pick-me-up and, like, little items that you can pick up and look at and shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They love those. So at least it's not those. But now I'm sitting here, I'm like... And both Uncharted games have a great chapter select. So I can always just load up and reload and, you know, abuse that system. So in all reality, like, I'll just play the games and then I'll have my fun with the games and then I'll spend an afternoon, 2 hours or whatever, just popping these last trophies or whatever. But it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Give me my goddamn trophy. I did this already for all 3 of these games.
The woe of a trophy gamer.
It's very annoying. And I don't know why it's only I don't know. Maybe it's something with the saves, the way the saves got transferred to PS5 and some other, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe I lost a save file somewhere. I deleted a save. Very possible. Very possible.
Any number of technical issues can go wrong.
Any number of technical issues, because PlayStation didn't plan for shit like this. You bunch of fucking jackasses.
It's so stupid. So dumb.
So dumb. As I continue to fucking buy all my games on PlayStation. Anyways, yeah, so that's really what I've been playing. Jedi Fallen Order, revisiting that, it's actually quite interesting how my feelings have kind of changed on Jedi Fallen Order a little bit. I don't know how you feel. I don't like that when I die, I get sent back to the last meditation point that I meditated at.
Mm-hmm.
Send me to the closest one.
Yeah.
What? Why am I having to re-travel through all this bullshit to get to the point where I died? Just to die again, maybe. You know? Why? Also, the moment-to-moment gameplay, not the strongest. The boss fights are great. I like the boss fights quite a bit. And I remember liking the boss fights a lot back in the day. But now it's like, I'm kind of tired of just waiting for the same 3 animations from these stormtroopers to play out. Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess I'll just do that. I'll just wait for the dude with the stick to hit me with his stick, like I always do, in the same way that he always does. All right, cool, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Gameplay got stagnant.
It's a little bit. I could have used some more variety. So I'm really hoping for this next one. I'm hoping for some deeper mechanics. I'm hoping for some more like experiment. I want combos. Can I have combos? Are there combos in From Software games?
No.
But
there are like weapon arts. There's weapon arts. You can two-hand things.
Here's another thing, man. You have all the experience with the From Software games. I have very limited experience with them. I understand their level design is something that is applauded often.
Yes.
Which sucks that I'm not a fan of these games because I love great level design.
Yeah.
And I think Jedi Fallen Order has pretty good level design. Mm-hmm. Is it as Metroidvania as are the From Software games as Metroidvania as Jedi Fallen Order is, or is it more of like a just kind of explore and do whatever you want and maybe you'll find something cool around the corner?
No, it's more of a Metroidvania because everything ideally things link easily into one another. So you go into one area, maybe there'll be a locked door, and you complete that entire area, you go into the next one, you get a bonfire, you go a little bit, and then you find a door you can unlock that leads back to that last area.
So it's more just like, it's more just, it circles back correctly. It's less like...
In a variety of different ways.
But it's less like, you can't get here until you have X ability.
It's never ability. It's always like, if you get to a point where you can access some locked door, whether it is you found a key in some corner somewhere...
it's just you found a key and you circle back, as opposed to Metroidvanias where it's like, that's a blue door. I can't enter blue doors right now. I guess I'll figure it out later.
No, it's not, in those regards, no. It's nothing like that at all. In fact, there's usually not many... There's not really that many blocks in the terms of in form of doors.
Yeah, nothing's in your way. You're allowed to explore, except for obviously enemies, opponents and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm enjoying my time with Fallen Order again. Like, it's still a fun game, but it is what I always knew it was. Where it's fun, it's not great.
Yeah, I know. I feel that if I were to play that game again, I would start noticing. I'd be more critical of some of the issues because I would think, okay, I've been through this before.
Dude, its combat is not that precise.
I'm not
with my time with Sekiro and even my limited time with Bloodborne. Like, I know those games are precision.
Yeah,
this game is not precision. It's almost, but there's too much wiggle room. There's too many times where I'm like, I feel like I should have hit that enemy, but I guess I didn't. There's too many times of felt like I blocked that, but okay. Too many times of I definitely dodged that move and I still took damage, but okay.
Groundwork,
foundation that we mentioned before. I'm expecting this next one to be a banger.
Yeah,
I'm expecting.
I'd be surprised if it's not.
Yeah,
there would have to be some I wouldn't be surprised if there was like one blunder that screwed over everything else. It'd be kind of hard to believe that they completely mess up a new game.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So, Fallen Order, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's Fallen Order, man. It's a good time. If you're looking for Star Wars, this is a good Star Wars game to have. Mm-hmm. It wasn't scratching my itch, though, of like, man, I want to play around with it. I was looking for like more of an action game than a Soulsborne game, and we've just yet to have one of those.
Tavin.
Yeah.
You have one.
Yeah?
You have access to one. It's called Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. It is one of the best.
No, it's not Star Wars, though.
It's not Star Wars.
I want Star Wars.
You're starved on that one for a little while.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could go find like a copy of like Force Unleashed or something, but do I really want to? I don't know. I don't think so. Anyways. Connor, what have you been playing, my friend?
Final Fantasy. Going through that. You asked me earlier, and I said that was it. I lied. That was not it. I picked up... I don't know if I've talked about it on this show before, because I picked up Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines a little while ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that far into it, and I was like, okay, I know this has a lot of potential. I always hear good things about it. I'll just go ahead and play through it all the way through, which is what I've also been doing. It is a very good game.
Okay.
It is one... okay. There's the biggest criticism, which is the combat is not that good.
Okay.
It's not... It's I know that I'm about to get to some bullshit parts. I know there's some bullshit parts coming. Just wait for those moments. Right now, I'm doing fine. I'm not having any bullshit deaths, but it definitely is like, okay, I whack this guy with my melee weapon, or I pull out my weapon, my gun, that can't shoot all that well because firearms work in a very weird way. But to encapsulate my whole entire feeling about the game, aside from its combat, it has a really interesting world, because the premise of it is that you're a human that was turned into a vampire, and now you're all of a sudden thrust into this world where vampire society is built a very certain way, with different clans, with different sects, with rules that, if not followed, could result in your execution or death at the hands of other vampires, because they don't want humans to know they exist. And they're constantly talking about the technological world making it a lot more difficult to stay hidden. So
Don't fuck around.
You don't fuck around. In fact, the person that turned you into a vampire did
Is it an action game? Or
it's an RPG game.
RPG.
It's an RPG.
So we got some open world stuff going on?
Oh, yes. Open world. I'll get into the map setup in a second. But you're pretty much tasked with solving problems by this head honcho vampire guy who, after killing the person, because he sired a vampire, without the authority of any actual officials, they had that person executed. And you were going to be killed as well, but now you were able to survive, but you're very unaware of everything that's going on in this world. So what the game really stresses you do is you talk to people, you talk to NPCs, important characters, get a sense for all of the different factions in the vampire world, which ones are, their motivations for why they're doing what they're doing, and come to your own conclusions about who you want to support and what decisions you want to make based off of these things. Because it's very much a game where dialogue is extremely heavy. NPCs, important characters, have lines and lines of dialogue. Some of these NPCs, particularly one like Jack, you can continuously go back to him, and it'll constantly have new topics of conversation based around events that you have done in the game. So he's kind of a good way to get a grasp of things, of whether Nines Rodriguez is capable of killing some evil guy, or I'm getting into spoilers. Basically, you're trying to uncover this sarcophagus. Find this sarcophagus that apparently owns this, houses an ancient vampire that can bring about the end times. So, nothing pretty casual. It's kind of hard to describe the game because there's so many different moving parts, and even now, I'm not even fully aware of all of the pieces on the board, or even what they're doing. Because there is a lot of intrigue, a lot of politics going on that you have to make yourself privy to and maneuver around. Now, usually this comes up in the form of dialogue trees. You're typical, and if you have an intimidation skill and you can use it to intimidate somebody, or you're really persuasive, so you can persuade somebody. But then you also have aspects that come into play, like your sexuality, your appearance, as the game puts it. So you can attract humans to suck their blood, because a big management in this game is blood management. You have your health bar, which refills unless you're damaged by supernatural attacks, certain supernatural attacks, or fire, and your blood meter, which allows you to use whatever abilities you have. So, for example, I'm playing a class called the Tremere, who are blood mages. So they have access to blood magic that no other class has access to. And whenever you use them, it drains your blood meter. And if you want to fill that back up, you have to feed on people without being seen. So there's kind of a stealth element where you have to catch random characters walking around in a dark spot in an alley, or on some street corner where there's no one else around, and suck their blood.
It's actually a pretty interesting pitch.
It is a very interesting pitch. And there's masquerade violations, which if you do 5 of them, your character gets executed. So, and there's ways to forgive that. So it's not like you're just screwed at a certain point in the game.
Yeah.
But you definitely have to make sure that you're not doing anything like that, which that kind of stuff also eventually leads to vampire hunters hunting you down. So if you don't do the systems properly, you're going to be punished in the game for it. The skill tree is very, very big. What you're basically trying to do throughout the entire game is get experience points to unlock, a better skill at haggling, or better skill at melee combat, or things like that. And now, these skills can actually be limited depending on what class you choose, because each class has a negative. Everyone they have their own special abilities they only have access to. They're better at certain skills, whether it's physical, mental, or social. To obviously mental allow you to hack into things, lockpick things, body or physical or whatever it is, to do physical things, to take damage, to be stealthy, and then social, to obviously intimidate people, to try and persuade people, to attract people, to do whatever it is you want to do. I don't know if I pitched it all that well, but it's also a cheap game. It came out back in 2004, and obviously the visuals are dated.
This is a 2004 game?
It's a 2004 game.
Dear Lord, my friend.
Yep, I know you would get upset at that, but it plays well for a 2004 game, outside of the combat, which is very clicky when you're whacking at people with an axe, or using your same abilities to make people go into a trance or whatever. So, definitely the weakest part of the game so far, but the intrigue that's given to you through all of the things that are going on in the city really entices you. And I said I would mention it earlier. The way that the map is set up is right now I have access to 3 locations, and taxi cars in each of those locations. When you take a taxi to one of those other locations, you're in this small, relatively small, localized area with all your quests and whatnot, and then you can transfer from different location to location through that taxi cab. So it's split up into downtown Santa Monica and like Hollywood. But I think I got a little bit more of that game to play. It's apparently not too long. It's a pretty easy pick up and play game, even though the GOG copy I got sometimes glitches out and spazzes and doesn't work properly. But you can conveniently get that game at a reasonably low price, like $10. It goes on sale a lot, so I'd recommend you pick it up. It's kind of a game you have to experience for yourself, because it gives you a variety of different experiences depending on what class you do and what choices you make. Very choice-heavy game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Other than that, just Final Fantasy?
Yeah, just Final Fantasy.
We talked enough about
Basically,
Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for our Two Penny Gamescast episode 80. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, you can catch us every Monday, 8 a.m. Central Time, youtube.com/2pennygamescast, or mainstream podcast services of your choice. Please drop a like, drop a follow, share it with a friend. We really, really do appreciate it. Rate it 5 stars, if you would be so kind, good sir, or ma'am. And twitch.tv/2pennygames. We're going live with some Spyro 2 this week. I imagine we're going to do like the first couple of hours we're going to be Spyro 2, and then we're going to jump into some Uncharted 4 for Phil's first time playing Uncharted 4. We're going to cap that off.
Going to be kind of doing that from now on, like just splitting things up, or Spyro specifically?
It depends on the game, and how we're feeling game to game. The first Spyro I enjoyed quite a bit, and I would have even completed it 100%, but we did it in one sitting. And, by world 4 of 7 or whatever the fuck, I was getting a little tired.
Okay.
So I was like, let's just wrap this up and get to the end of it. So now with our newer system of like, hey man, if we feel the need to take a break, we do a check-in at about, hour 3. We try to do 6-hour streams. At about hour 3, we'll check in and be like, hey, where are we sitting? We good for the rest of the stream, or do you want to stop? And then, from there we'll switch it up and do whatever we want. We had to do it a few times with Uncharted. We had to do it, obviously a lot with the Jak and Daxter 2 and 3s. And then, it's just a way for us to fully enjoy the game the way it's like actually meant to be enjoyed. Like, Crash Bandicoot was a great example of a game that broke me, but I loved it. I absolutely adored that first Crash game. But, at about hour 3 or 4, you start getting tired of a game fucking, destroying you.
Yeah.
and being stuck in the same level loop again and again and again and again. So, we just take it game by game. Obviously, God of War, Phil had no issues spending all day playing that game. If we were doing Uncharted playing, I don't know, I don't imagine he would have an issue before, but, we're doing it alongside, Spyro 2, so. What's interesting is the game that I'm going to have him play after Uncharted 4, Connor. We'll talk about it off mic.
Okay.
There's no spoilers. We're too early for that. But we're switching it up. We're getting a little weird. We're getting a little weird. It's a good time. Anyways,
to see what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, go follow us twitch.tv/2pennygames. Hit the subscribe for the youtube.com/2pennygamescast. Remember, we got an After the Hype review of God of War coming up this Tuesday. A Hype Year 1 in review coming up next Tuesday. And in between that, we'll be having the finale of the Metal Gear Solid 2 first-time playthrough going up. So please go check that out. A lot of fun, a lot of good times. But until next week, have a good week. And Connor, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye.